Yeah, bar risers, I can tell, were a good positive thing. Carol, she lives second from the top. She'd be pissed if she saw me riding this. She doesn't even like bicycles on it. You know, the power delivery on this is just amazing. I have it set at 1. And for the least aggressive, because the last thing I want to do is whiskey throttle this thing, which can't happen. That's with any bike, but especially these little electric boots. I don't want to hit my forearms. I know it's annoying, but when you're alone and you're dealing with grizzlies, really a pretty cool lake back here. I don't know that we're going to make it all the way. Let's see. Oh, actually, a pretty good time. These are all huckleberry bushes here. And I have seen some big tracks back here. So I know this suspension is too soft for a lot of people, and that's why they're upgrading it, especially if you ride motocross tracks. But for woods riding, it's really pretty darn adequate. I mean, they're not the best shocks in the world, but very adequate, I'd say, for woods. Trail there. Boy, if I can make it all the way back, that'd be something. I think we're almost there. There it is. Well, be darned. Nice tamarack. Yeah, there's the little lake. And there is trout in here. Well, this might be a good place to do my little mods video. Why not? Hey folks, Shredding Shawarma here. And you know, I forgot the name of the lake. I used to live up here about 5 years ago, and it's a little hiking trail to get back here, maybe a mile and a half. But I was surprised I even made it back here. But what better of a place to give a review on my bike after 200 mostly woods miles, a few fire road double track trails. I'm a little sketched because this is actually grizzly habitat back here, and I didn't bring my gun. So it's and I just heard a noise, but anyways. So, and also I put some more mods on my bike. While I was down for about a month with a little operation I had, I just, ordered some parts. Now that the aftermarket parts are coming out for the Ultra Bee, which is awesome. When I first got the bike, there was like literally nothing. There was the linkage parts, the wheels, and I think that's about it. Now they've got extendable kickstands, adjustable, for the, because you do need it when you change to the 18-inch with a taller tire. But anyways, we'll kind of go through them. But first of all, on the 200-mile review, it's been awesome. It's just an amazing bike. Sure, it could use a little more power for, even for woods riding, for hopping over stuff. Sure, the suspension can be better. For the woods, it's adequate. I've got it pretty soft, which is what what you want for the woods. There was, the few parts that they skimp on. I mean, so many good things they did with this that we had to upgrade on the Light Bee came stock with this bike, except for the rims and the tires, which, I get it. It's fine for city riding, and it definitely lowers the cost. The pegs, they were something to be desired. I did sharpen them with a file, but now they have aftermarket pegs. But the bike is amazing. I love it. I really, honestly, don't know what I would upgrade to as far as bikes go. This is the bike that I want. This is the bike that I desire, and it's for woods riding. It is awesome. Some guys now with the bigger controller, and they're putting on better suspension. So now they're hitting motocross tracks, and I was just watching the video this morning, they're beating big bikes on the Ultra Bee on motocross tracks. Pretty nuts. So anyways, yeah, and then so the only thing that has loosened or anything after 200 miles, and I if you watch my videos, I don't treat this thing like a pansy. I ride it pretty hard, and so the linkage right here has just a tiny bit of play, and I mean a tiny bit. Nothing that I'm even going to worry about bushings for. I'm not sure if I do have bushings for the Light Bee. I'm not sure if they're the same or not, but I'll find out eventually. But that's the only thing that has come loose on this bike. So I think that's pretty darn good. With my Light Bee, the forks were constantly, well, I blew out the stock forks in 2 weeks, so I bought some DVOs for it. But I had a lot of problem with, it just kept loosening up in the triple clamp area. So that wasn't good. It was just a pain in the butt. I've had to do really nothing. The only thing I adjust, and I'm not even having to do that anymore, is the roller chain. For the first, when you put the roller chain on, it is going to stretch. And, so the first 5 or 6 rides, you've got to adjust it every time after every ride. But now it's fine. Beautiful. All good. So, and then the other thing that I thought was a little chintzy, the other thing that I thought was a little bit chintzy on this is the hand guards. They're a little soft. My Light Bee, I was able to get some of these, and they're super stiff without having, I don't like having the solid mount here, because when I hit a tree, I want it to give. I don't want it to turn my handlebar, but I also don't, want it to soften up. I haven't never had a problem with it hitting my hand or anything like that, but after a few crashes, I have bent my levers. So I wish these were just a little stiffer. And there's not much you can do for aftermarket. There's no room on here at all. I wanted to cut the bars even another 1/2 inch shorter, but I couldn't do it because there's just no room. So it is what it is. I'm used to it. It's all good. So those are like my big complaints. The other thing that was kind of chintzy was the bash guard. I already put a hole in it. Didn't realize it. I had ordered, and we'll get into it on the mods, but I ordered another bash guard. Definitely, you know, way more heavy duty. But when I took the old one off, lo and behold, there's a hole in it, the bottom about like that. Probably going over a log and hitting a branch nub, something like that, or I don't know, going over rocks. I'm not sure. So anyways, on to the mods. So there's so many, I actually had to kind of write everything down. So we'll start with the 53 tooth sprocket. So there that is. It is aluminum. I really wish they had a steel sprocket with the aluminum rim on the outside. I forgot the company that actually makes those for motorcycles, and I did have one on my Light Bee, and it was awesome because it was lightweight. Actually, it was aluminum on the inside and then with a steel rim. That's right. And then that way the teeth didn't wear out. I'm not really noticing any wear on this quite yet, but I'd imagine, you know, if you let your chains get too worn out, they will definitely affect the wear on the teeth. So really important to, you know, I spent $100 on this. This is a Pro X chain. And so it's a top of the line roller chain. So I don't want to skimp on the roller chain because as they stretch and get worn out, they are going to wear out the teeth on your sprocket. So there's another 60 bucks or whatever they cost right there. So I think it's just better to get the good chain to begin with. The 53 tooth sprocket, I kind of wish I had like a 54 maybe, but it's fine. I think a 54 it would snap a little better over logs and stuff like that. And now that I constantly ride it in sport mode, so there's really you know, it's for the most part it's fine. And the bigger the sprocket, the lower to the ground, the more things you're going to hit. They don't have a chain guard quite yet, or a sprocket guard. I'm waiting on that. That is one mod that I'd really love to get, especially for the bigger sprocket, and something that might wrap around a little bit more. So on my Light Bee, I switched out the primary to a chain and with the bigger sprocket. And so that allowed me to make this sprocket smaller. And so it wasn't hanging down so much. And I really like that setup. So I hope eventually they can do something like that on here. But I've looked at it and I don't know how you can make that sprocket any bigger. So you'd have to change the gearing in another way up here in order to make that sprocket smaller and still have the same gear ratio. So let's see the next thing. Let's see, we did the KKE wheels. Awesome. They have not, spokes have not loosened up at all whatsoever. I did put rim locks on it. I think that's a must-have, especially in the rear, with these you know, especially with these gummy tires that just grip. I mean, you would spin. You'd on my Light Bee, I spun them. So I didn't put rim locks on it to begin with, which I should have. I did on these. I think they look great, but they're definitely awesome wheels. Definitely the way to go if you're a serious rider on this Ultra Bee. Tires, the rear is a 4.5 inch by 18, of course, Kenda Equilibrium. I've got 200 miles on it, and you can see that there's virtually no wear. I mean, there's a little bit on the edges, and I ride this thing in very rocky, sharp rocks, These tires, I would expect them to be a little more worn than what they are. But just incredible tire, very affordable. The front, I run a Michelin Starcross Soft. And again, very little wear, no chunking at all. It's, you know, the wear is one thing, the chunking is another. When you start chunking, it gets dangerous. Actually, one of my worst crashes, I actually sprained my ankle on my KTM because I did not replace my front tire after it started chunking. So again, this is after 200 miles. I never ran the stock tires, so these are truly from the very beginning of the bike. I still have the brand new wheels and tires stock. Anybody wants them, let me know. But anyways, love this tire. I've been running this tire forever. Just absolutely love it. Have no problems at all with it washing out. And that's really everything, because last thing you want is your front tire washing out on you. I am running IRC 3mm heavy duty tubes. I really didn't want to go tubeless. I'm just old school. I just believe in, I know they're more weight, I get it, but I just, you know, you put them in and you forget about it. You don't get flat tires. I've never had a flat tire on my Light Bee or on this. And so that's just what I do. That's my personal preference. The bars, I bought Pro Taper and in a Woods High model, and I love them. They're awesome. The only thing I don't like is the fact that with the just the way the bend is, you know, if they kind of came up more like this and then came, I could actually cut them shorter and have more room for all this stuff. This is so tight. It took a lot of adjusting to make this work, because this has to be a certain angle so it doesn't hit the brake handle and so on and so forth. But love the bars, and yeah, you know, that's what's there to say. Pro Taper makes awesome bars. Pillow top grips, love them, way better than the stock. And the throttle, in order to get the stock grip off the throttle body, it is a BITCH exclamation point. It is tough. You've got to basically cut it off, scrape all the rubber off. It took about an hour, you know, of just elbow grease. But once you get it, you're all good. Just don't want to, you know, you don't want to cut into your plastic too much, you know, when you're scraping it off. I think I was using a file, I was using a razor knife, I was using all kinds of different things. And just, so finally got it. I was able to get on the grips that I like. And so that's all good. And let's see. So the other thing I got for it right off the bat was the beefier linkage. I just believe in beef rather than things that can bend, and that was kind of, I thought personally, kind of another weak point on the bike, especially, you know, especially if you're riding a motocross track and you're doing a lot of jumping. I would definitely recommend getting the linkage. It's not that much money. It was a little pain in the butt putting on, but really not that bad. Once you figured out what order to take these apart on, and it was no problem. So I think you have to take this one, and then this one is last, because then this will go down, because you can't get a wrench in there the way that it sits. So that was kind of a pain, but once I figured it out, it wasn't too bad. And I probably should have done a video on it, but my first night of getting the bike, that's when I was doing all this, and just really I was just more just wanting to put it together. And so here are the new pegs, KKE platform pegs. Awesome. Switch. Oh man, just all the difference in the world. If you do have the stock ones, and you're not quite ready to put out the money for these, I would just take a file to them, sharpen them. It seemed to work fine. So let's go to Kickstand. So now they have the adjustable kickstand that you can adjust to whatever you want to, because the bike is taller. And so with the stock kickstand, with the 18-inch wheel and the taller tire, it really leans. It's not good. It's not effective. So I took out this down to the local welding shop, and I had them add on a foot. So the stock used to be about right there, and so they just added this on for me, and it's just a big aluminum club foot. You know, it added on a couple ounces, sure, but it works, and it's perfect. So I was really happy to get that done. Brake levers. So the aftermarket ones they're selling now, it is good. So the stock ones, they did bend back a little bit, but not that much. These go all the way, which is good. I was hoping that they also went this way, up and down. I know they make some for motorcycles that do that. But anyways, hopefully these will hang in there. Nice levers. Should work fine. So on this, I really want to take this off. So I added right here are 3/4 inch bar risers, and the bike, it was just a little low before, even with the woods high, and so, you know, they're like 30 bucks or something, but added 3/4 of an inch. Now when I'm standing up, I'm completely relaxed. I'm not bent over, and when I'm sitting down, it's actually more comfortable. Your hands are a little bit higher. So I thought that was definitely a good addition. This is my first ride with them. I wasn't sure. I thought they were going to be too tall and I'd have to shave them down to a 1/2 inch. But not the case. I think as you saw, I rode in on this little skinny trail, and about as woods-like as you can get, and they were fine. So I'm gonna go with them the way they are, and see what happens on a real ride. So next are the shark fins. Definitely needed. I ride in a very rocky area, so those things were definitely needed. Front one, you know, real easy to put on. Back one, yeah, a little bit of work, but it wasn't as hard as I thought it would be. It was actually pretty easy. So now my rotors are protected. I think well worth the money. They were kind of expensive. I think the rear was like 80 bucks and the front was like about 70, but well worth it. All right, so yeah, the shark fins, I think definitely really stoked that they came out with those. Bash guard. Okay, so that's the other, as I was saying on my review, the other skimpy thing, or the thing they kind of skimped out on, was the bash guard. And I get it. You know, most people that buy these, I would say probably most, ride on the street, or, you know, just do easy riding, fire roads, stuff like that. And so that, you know, they cut the costs where they could, and for serious riders, woods, motocross, whatever, you could add on your mods, you know, for whatever you ride. So motocross, you really, you know, wouldn't even really need to upgrade on that, but I would say woods, absolutely must have. As I said before, when I took the old one off, it had a hole in it, and so this one, it extends way further back. The other one stops about right here, and so they added on probably another 3 inches here, And this is solid steel, well vented, more protection up on the sides here. And you know, I'm really not all that happy about the weight, but it is what it is. I'd rather have the protection. And so I haven't even taken it over any logs, I don't think yet, really. Nope. So that's gonna save stuff. And so with this right here, you're gonna save your connections where the other one really didn't. And then also too, back here, you've got, like I said, that extra 3 inches, and that'll help keep stuff out of your belt area. And then it's got a little lip that kind of wraps around your frame right there. So, you know, it is extra weight, and I do have a scale on order. I'm going to weigh this sucker with all the mods on it, and I'll let you know. But the good thing is it's centered and low mass, so it would actually almost help your handling, instead of if it was up, the extra weight was up high. So, you know, it is what it is. It's a whole give and take thing, and on personal preference. They do make aluminum guards, and so you know, if you really are really trying to watch the weight on your bike, get an aluminum bash guard, but it's better than that plastic one that comes with it stock. Okay. Boy, I think that is about it for the mods. I am waiting again. The chain guard will be the next one when that comes out. One thing I like about this bike compared to the Light Bee is this flap right here to keep your linkage all nice and clean. Definitely really nicely built, and a lot better than what we had for the Light Bee, which is just basically a piece of rubber that you mounted in there, and you're constantly having to fix it and replace it. Wow, I think that is about it. That's, you know, that's really, compared to the Light Bee, that is not a whole lot of mods to make the bike right. And so I think that's I think what people love about the Ultra Bee. And you know, every video I'm seeing on them, people are just raving on it. It is a truly awesome, great bike. And yeah, and then the only other mod right there, feet's up, no dabs. And that's my motto anyways. So anyways, well, that is my 200-mile review, and the recent mods, and tight little woods trail here for a little flavor to the video. But anyways, please like and subscribe. I really appreciate it. And comments are very welcome. I love the comments. And I just want to say thanks to all the well-wishers out there for my surgery. And it did go well. I'm all healed up and ready to ride again. All right. Remember, feet's up. All right. I think many people come back here. Kind of a cool little trail though. Alright, it's up so far. One dab. So glad that wasn't wet. I've been like moss. Air dab doesn't count. Boy, imagine riding 20 miles of this. Holy cow.